Imagine you're given $86,400 every morning. But there's a catch. Whatever you don't spend by midnight disappears forever. You can't save it. You can't get it back. Would you waste it? Of course not. Yet you have 86,400 seconds every day, and you're throwing thousands of them away. Seneca understood this. As advisor to emperors and one of the wealthiest men in Rome, he still found time to write, to think, to live deliberately. How? He mastered something you haven't. Time. I'm Vera, and this is your Daily Stoic Toolkit. When you're ready to face the truth, I'll guide you. Today we're diving into Seneca's masterpiece, On the Shortness of Life, a letter written 2,000 years ago that's more relevant now than ever. Because while you're scrolling, waiting, worrying, and procrastinating, your life is passing. And Seneca has something to tell you about that. Let's start with brutal honesty. You're wasting your life, not all of it, but most of it. And the worst part? You don't even realize you're doing it. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested." Read that again. Life is long enough. The problem isn't time, it's how you're using it. So let's look at how you're actually spending your 86,400 seconds. You wake up, you scroll social media for 30 minutes. That's 1,800 seconds. Gone. You can never get them back. They didn't go toward your goals. They didn't strengthen relationships. They didn't make you wiser. They just disappeared. You get to work. But how much of that time is actually productive? If you're honest, maybe 3 or 4 hours out of 8. The rest? Meetings that could be emails that don't matter, conversations about nothing, pretending to be busy, more wasted seconds, thousands of them. Seneca called this out. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy. You guard your money, you protect your possessions. But time, you throw it away like it's infinite. You scroll, you binge shows you don't even enjoy. You worry about things that will never happen. You engage in drama that doesn't matter. You say yes to obligations you resent. You wait. For what? For life to begin. It's already happening, and you're missing it. Seneca wrote to people who had the same excuse you do. I'm too busy. Busy Romans, important Romans, people with real responsibilities. And he told them, you are not busy, you are distracted, and distraction is not the same as purpose. He watched people rush from appointment to appointment, task to task, never stopping to ask, is this actually important? Does this move me toward what matters? Or am I just filling time? Here's what most people do. They spend decades on things that don't matter, career they hate, people who drain them, pleasures that don't fulfill them. And then, when they're old, when time is actually running out, they panic. They look back and realize they wasted it. Seneca saw this pattern everywhere. He wrote, "How late it is to begin to live, just when we must cease to live." Most people don't start living until it's almost over. Don't be most people. The truth is this. You don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem. You have a distraction problem. You have a courage problem, because it takes courage to say no to time wasters. It takes courage to protect your life from people and things that don't deserve it. Seneca knew this. He was advising emperors, managing wealth, writing philosophy. He had less free time than you, and yet he lived more deliberately, because he understood something you need to understand. Time is all you have, and you're giving it away to things that don't matter. So what did Seneca actually teach? Let's break down his core insights from On the Shortness of Life. First insight, most people don't own their time. Seneca wrote, "Everyone hurries his life on and suffers from a yearning for the future and a weariness of the present. But he who bestows all of his time on his own needs, who plans every day as if it were his last, neither longs for nor fears the morrow." Read that carefully. You don't own your time when you're living in the future or dwelling in the past. When you're anxious about tomorrow or regretful about yesterday, you're not present. And if you're not present, you're not living. You're just existing. Seneca's solution? Treat each day as if it's your last. Not in a reckless way, but in a focused way. What would you do today if you knew it was your final day? Probably not scroll social media. Probably not worry about what someone thinks of you. Probably not waste it on nonsense. Second insight: you can't save time, only spend it wisely. People think, I'll live later, after this project, after I make more money, after the kids grow up. But Seneca warns, believe me, it is the sign of a great man, and one who is above human error, not to allow his time to be frittered away. He has the longest possible life, simply because whatever time was available, he devoted entirely to himself. Whatever time was available, he devoted to himself, not to distractions, not to other people's agendas, to himself, to what mattered. You can't bank time. You can't save it for later. Every second you waste is gone forever. So the question isn't, how do I get more time? The question is, am I using the time I have on what actually matters? And for most people, the answer is no. They're using it on autopilot, on habits they never questioned, on obligations they never chose, on entertainment that doesn't satisfy them. Third insight: most people are not alive, they're preparing to live. This is Seneca's most devastating observation. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short space of time, but that we waste much of it. Life is long enough, and it has been given in sufficiently generous measure to allow the accomplishment of the very greatest things, if the whole of it is well invested. But when it is squandered through luxury and carelessness, when it is devoted to no good end, forced at last by the ultimate necessity, we perceive that it has passed away before we were aware that it was passing." That last line. It has passed away before we were aware that it was passing. That's your life, passing, right now, while you're distracted, while you're worried, while you're scrolling. And the tragedy isn't that life is short. The tragedy is that you're letting it pass without living it. You're in preparation mode. I'll start living when I get that promotion, when I find the right partner, when I have more money. Meanwhile, years are disappearing. Seneca also makes a critical distinction. There's a difference between living long and living. He says some people live long lives but barely live at all. Others die young but live fully. Length of life doesn't matter if you're wasting it. What matters is depth, presence, meaning. Did you use your time on what you value? Or did you let it slip away? Finally, Seneca teaches that the only time you truly own is now. The past is gone. The future doesn't exist. All you have is this moment, and you're either using it or losing it. He wrote, "Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life." Each day is a life. Treat it that way. Don't wait for someday. Someday isn't coming. There's only today. And you're either going to live it or you're going to waste it like you wasted yesterday. Philosophy is useless without practice. So how do you actually apply this? How do you stop wasting your life? Here are Seneca's techniques, translated for modern life. Technique 1. Conduct a time audit. Seneca would be horrified by how you spend your time. So would you if you actually tracked it. For 1 week, write down everything you do and how long it takes. Everything. Social media, TV, meetings, work, sleep, then review it. Ask yourself Seneca's question: if this were my last week, would I spend it this way? For most of your activities, the answer will be no. Those are the things you need to eliminate or drastically reduce. When you see it written down, 4 hours on social media, 2 hours on shows you don't care about, 3 hours in meetings that accomplished nothing, you can't deny it anymore. You'll realize you have more time than you thought. You're just wasting it. This audit is painful. Do it anyway. Truth hurts. But it also liberates. Technique 2. Eliminate, delegate, or minimize. Once you know where your time goes, ask 3 questions about each activity. Can I eliminate this entirely? If yes, do it. Cut it out. Most obligations you think are necessary aren't. You just haven't questioned them. Can I delegate this? If yes, do it. Your time is the most valuable resource you have. Stop doing things someone else can do. Can I minimize this? If you can't eliminate or delegate, can you reduce the time spent? That 2-hour meeting could be 30 minutes. That aimless scroll could be 10 focused minutes. Seneca would say, be ruthless. Your life depends on it. Technique 3. Protect your time like you protect your money. Seneca wrote, "No person hands out their money to passers-by, but to how many do each of us hand out our lives?" You wouldn't give $100 to everyone who asks, but you give away hours to people who don't deserve them. Someone wants to grab coffee to pick your brain, that's your life they're asking for. Someone wants you to attend something you don't care about, that's your life. Learn to say no, fiercely. Protect your time. If you don't, no one else will. Technique 4. Set a daily intention. Each morning, ask, if today were my last day, how would I spend it? Then spend it that way. Not recklessly, but deliberately. Seneca said to live each day as a complete life. So, what would a complete life look like in one day? Probably meaningful work, time with people you love, learning something, creating something, appreciating beauty, reflecting on wisdom. Not scrolling, worrying, procrastinating, resenting. This intention anchors you. When distraction calls, you remember, I decided how I'd spend today. This doesn't fit. So you say no, without guilt, without hesitation. You chose your day. Now live it. Technique 5. Evening review. Every night, Seneca recommends reviewing your day. He learned this from his Stoic predecessors. Ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well with my time today? What did I waste time on? How will I use my time better tomorrow? This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. You can't improve what you don't measure. The evening review makes you conscious, and consciousness is the first step to change. Technique 6. Remember death. Memento mori. Seneca constantly reminded himself and others, you will die. Maybe soon. This isn't morbid. It's clarifying. When you remember death, time wasting becomes unbearable. You don't have forever. You don't even have tomorrow guaranteed. So why are you spending today on things that don't matter? Seneca wrote, let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. Balance the books. Did you spend your time well? Or did you waste it? If you wasted it, you can't get it back, but you can choose differently tomorrow. Let's talk about what changes when you actually implement this. Because this isn't theory. This is life or death. Literally. The way you spend your time is the way you spend your life. And most people are spending it on nothing. When you start protecting your time, the first thing that happens is resistance. People will be offended when you say no. They're used to you saying yes. They're used to you giving away your time. When you stop, they'll call you selfish. Let them. Seneca would say, it's not selfish to value your life. It's insane not to. You're not here to live according to other people's priorities. You're here to live according to your own. The second thing that happens is clarity. When you eliminate the noise, you see what actually matters. For most people, it's about 3 to 5 things: meaningful work, deep relationships, health, learning, creating. That's it. Everything else? Filler. Distraction. Seneca would say, focus on the essential. Let the rest fall away. You don't have time for everything. You barely have time for what matters. The third thing is presence. When you're not worried about tomorrow or regretful about yesterday, you can actually be here, now, with the people you love, doing the work that matters, experiencing life instead of rushing through it. Seneca wrote about this too. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. Stop expecting. Stop waiting. Be here. This moment is your life, not the next one. This one. Fourth, you'll realize you have more time than you thought, not because you got more hours, but because you stopped wasting the hours you have. Seneca was right. Life is long. You just weren't using it. When you cut out the 2 hours of scrolling, the 3 hours of mindless TV, the 4 hours of worry and procrastination, suddenly you have 9 hours. Every day. That's 3,285 hours per year. That's enough time to master a skill, write a book, transform your health, build something meaningful. Fifth, you'll feel the weight of responsibility. Because once you know you're wasting your life, you can't pretend you didn't know. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. You know better now. So you have to do better. That's heavy, but it's also empowering. You're in control. You can choose. Every single day you can choose to live instead of waste. That's terrifying and liberating at the same time. Now let's address some objections. But I have responsibilities. I can't just do whatever I want with my time. Seneca had more responsibilities than you. He was advising an emperor, managing immense wealth, navigating Roman politics, and he still found time for what mattered. How? He was ruthless about protecting it. He said no to almost everything. He focused on the essential. You can do the same. Your responsibilities are real. But so is the time you spend scrolling. So are the obligations you chose that you could unchoose. But what about rest? What about entertainment? Seneca isn't against rest. He's against wasting life on empty pleasures. There's a difference between rest that restores you and distraction that numbs you. Rest is necessary. Scrolling for 3 hours isn't rest, it's avoidance. Watching shows you don't even enjoy isn't rest, it's time wasting. Real rest rejuvenates. It doesn't leave you feeling empty. Know the difference. But I don't know what to do with my time if I'm not wasting it. That's the real problem, isn't it? You've wasted so much time that you've forgotten how to live. So start small. Ask, what did I love before I got distracted by all this noise? What have I always wanted to learn? Who have I neglected? What would make today meaningful? Start there. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to stop wasting and start living. Here's what Seneca promises if you do this. Not more years, but more life in your years. He wrote, life is divided into 3 periods. That which has been, that which is, that which will be. Of these, the present is short, the future is doubtful, the past is certain. You can't control how long you live, but you can control how fully you live. And when you use your time well, even a short life becomes long, because it's measured in depth, not duration. Think about this. Seneca died at 65. By ancient standards, a decent life, but by modern standards, not that long. Yet he lived more in those 65 years than most people live in 90. Because he didn't waste it. Every year counted, every day mattered. He wrote philosophy that's still changing lives 2,000 years later. He lived deliberately, fully, and when death came, he faced it calmly. Because he had lived, he hadn't wasted it. Can you say the same? Here's what I want you to do. Today, not tomorrow, today, conduct your time audit. Write down everything you did yesterday and how long it took. Be honest. Then look at it. Really look at it. Ask yourself, if I only had 1 year to live, would I spend it this way? What would I cut? What would I protect? What would I add? Then make those changes. Tomorrow, start reclaiming your life. If you're serious about living instead of wasting, subscribe to this channel for more stoic wisdom that cuts through the noise. Share this with someone who's throwing their life away. Maybe it'll wake them up. And most importantly, stop waiting. Stop procrastinating. Stop wasting. Your life is happening now. Live it. I'm Vera. This is your Daily Stoic Toolkit. When you're ready to face the truth, I'll be here to guide you. Seneca was right. Life is long if you know how to use it. But most people don't know. Now you do, so stop wasting yours. Start living. Today.